What's up gamers, today I'm coming at you guys with a tutorial where we'll go over how to do Rayman 4 skip. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So Rayman 4 skip takes place in Fairy Console 5. Normally you have to watch this long cutscene before you can access the teleporter that will then take you to the end of the level.
See you in Rayman 4!
With Rayman 4 skip, you can completely bypass all this by using a horizontal super jump to hit the out of bound end of level trigger without having to watch the cutscene and use the teleporter. I think it's a trick that's worth looking into as it saves a lot of time, it's very early in the run and it's useful in all non-glitchless categories. The first part of the trick will be to get up onto the right side of that sort of ramp going around the room, and to do so you have two options. You can do a CBSJ from the bottom of the first pillar on the right and land at the top of it. This is the least bad option in my opinion, but it can still be quite inconsistent at times, so don't give up if you struggle a bit with it. Another option is to do a straight play CSJ behind the third pillar. I find it even less consistent than a CSJ, but it's still viable, and if you can get it first try, it's a bit faster, so it might be worth looking into if you can get comfortable with it. Now that you are up here, it is time to set up the horizontal super jump. You want to make your way to the third pillar and ledge grab just after it. The ledge grab position isn't super precise, as long as you are in this general area, it will be fine. This ledge grab is what sets the value that gives the horizontal momentum to the super jump, and you're going to have to be careful about what you do to make sure you preserve it. There are two things you want to avoid. The first is to leave the ground in any way, so that includes falling and jumping. This is why you have to let the animation of Rayman pulling himself up the ledge play, and not jump up from it. The second is to move while strafing. This is a bit annoying as strafe movement is the best way to precisely move Rayman, and it's how we usually set up regular super jumps, but here it cannot be done as moving while strafed resets the value that was set by the ledge grab. You can still strafe to center the camera if you want, just make sure you don't move while holding R. Now you're going to have to break the fixed camera. There are areas in the game, like the ramp Rayman is on right now, where the camera will stop to follow Rayman as it usually does with 3 cameras. You will not have complete control over it anymore and it will fix itself at a certain point in space. One effect of fixed cameras is that they won't let you go into first person while moving, which we're obviously gonna need to do to start the horizontal super jump, so we have to get rid of it. To free the camera, you simply have to hold the direction of the C-stick for at least a second, and it will break the fixed camera. Be careful as in this specific location, the camera will fix itself again if you do nothing for 5 seconds. Now that you are all set up, it's time for the core of the trick, the actual horizontal super jump itself. You want to stay roughly in the same spot you got up from the ledge, and from there face toward the ledge at about a 55 degrees angle. Make sure the camera is against the wall like so to avoid the first person camera catching up to Rayman when you start the horizontal super jump. Run off the edge trying to stay as close as possible to this 55 degrees angle and go into first person just as you would with any other extended super jump. Once you are launched, the first thing you need to do is adjust your angle if necessary. There is a big invisible wall you need to avoid, and to do so you want to go as close to in a straight line as possible. You need to adjust the horizontal angle of the first-person camera, which will shift the direction Rayman is traveling to in a symmetric relation to what was set by the ledge grab. So basically, the more you look to the left, the more you'll go toward the right, and the more you look to the right, the more you'll go toward the left. To better see what direction Rayman is heading, I advise raising the camera a bit by tapping down on the control stick just after you take off. So if he's shifting to the left, adjust by moving the first-person camera a bit to the left. And if he's shifting to the right, adjust by moving it a bit to the right. Note that going a little bit to the left is usually fine, but going to the right can make you overshoot the trigger later in the trick. This can be a bit of a messy back and forth of left and right to finally get a straight on of angle, and it can be tricky to keep mashing Y to extend the super jump while doing it, so don't lose hope if you struggle a bit with this part at first. At some point, Rayman will not be visible anymore, and you will know if you successfully avoided the invisible wall when he becomes visible again a second later and isn't falling from bonking the wall. Now that you are here, the final step is to reach the trigger to end the level, which is somewhere in this purple storm of textures. What really interests us is this big shape in the middle. I will refer to it as a cone on its side. The trigger we are aiming for is a box right in the middle of the base of this cone. From here, there are two ways to approach this. You can either keep extending the horizontal super jump to snag the trigger. Although this might seem daunting at first, I think it's the most reliable option once you get comfortable with it, on top of being faster. Since the camera will always be the same and you have a clear zoomed out view of the area, you can get consistent visual cues. Mine is to aim a bit to the right of the edge of the base of the cone that is the furthest away from you, which you can see by transparency. So once Rayman is visible again, you want to steer toward the right by carefully moving the first person camera to the left and aim for that spot. If you do that right, you will see cutscene black bars appear at the top and bottom of the screen when you successfully hit the end of level trigger. No, all you need to do is let Rayman fall as the game waits for you to be on solid ground to initiate the level transition. And thankfully, this whole area is enclosed in a giant box, so you will land after a few seconds. Make sure you tap hover before landing, as the transition can't start during the sploosh animation. You can use the beat of the music to help you time it. You want to hover right after 7 bits. If you're too late and do splash, just smash A to get out of the animation faster. If you want to try the second option, here is how it looks. You can stop the horizontal super jump a bit earlier and hover into the trigger. I don't have great visual cues to provide for this one, but as mentioned previously, you need to aim for the center of the base of the cone. And once you're close enough, you will get a camera which is fixed to the end of the level trigger, so you'll want to go straight toward the camera to hit it. This is always good to know as a backup as well. And that should pretty much cover all you need to know to pull Rayman 4 Escape off. If you have any additional questions, feel free to leave a comment or just to let me know what you thought of the video and what else you'd like to see. Obviously mandatory smash like, subscribe, follow Twitch, all the good stuff, and yeah, I hope that was useful and see you later.